Welcome, everybody. Welcome to this week's stream. This week, we got Perp,
Hello.
and of course, we got Holly.
Hi.
And I'm kind of here. We chillin'. It's a very, very chill day. Nobody's hanging out with us in the community server just yet. Well, we should probably send out a ping just to let people know that we're up. But
Yep, working on it now.
oh, thank you much. Yeah, just a chill art day once again. Hanging out with Perp, working on Song of Origins music artwork. One of these days, maybe next week. I don't know. I'll have to throw in some of the tracks that we've been making for the Song of Origins into our looping mix of music, so that way you guys get a little bit of a sneak peek. I will say this, for those of you who are not in our Discord server and not all that active in our community day events, you missed out on some juicy lore tidbits that we were handing out for free back
Say
on
what?
Sunday. Yeah, for free. We had a couple of friends stop in while we were hanging out. I was working on a little bit of music, and since I had all of the audio stuff set up, I decided to give everybody some sneak peeks. It was a good time, fun times. And you too could get some sneak peeks if you join us at our Discord server, which I will throw in our link once again for that. Throw that in right there. But yeah. So Perp, you want to take us through what you're working on today then?
We're in the home stretch of Song of Origin stuff. So I'm doing the scene where Zek is told that he's a little cringe baby. Sent time out. All the way over there.
All the way over there. You know, that's it's an apt description of what happens in this movement too. Dude was way too cringe. Went to gay baby jail, as the kids used to say back a few years ago. I don't know what the kids are saying these days. I'm old. I used to be with it. I used to know what it was, but now what it now what it is has changed, and it's scary to me. I feel like today is going to be very chill, very relaxed.
Yep, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. As per usual, I have my nice cup of tea, good London fog going. And I will likely continue to make this London fog until I run out of that brand of tea, which is, unfortunately, occurring at quite a quick pace, so I gotta figure out where I can get more of it.
There's a location in the name. Have you tried the Fog Store?
The fog is coming, the fog is coming, the fog is coming. Dude, I can't believe they made fog from from Silent Hill a real thing. It was, you know.
Wait.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
It's like, well, then wait till you get to see Maine.
Well, I mean, so having moved up to the Pacific Northwest, this winter I've seen more fog in a matter of months than I've seen in my entire life up until this point. It's been crazy. And I lived in California where we had smog every so often back when I lived there, and it was nothing like the fog that we have here. I'll also say, I lived in California when I was very, very young, and I remember surprisingly quite a lot of it. And whenever the smog would roll in, I remember it would usually be like I loved to go out in the front yard and hang out for a little while in like throughout the day, because we had grass in the front yard, and I haven't really had grass almost the rest of my entire life since then. Living in Arizona after that, everybody's got gravel yards, so. But you know, having the grass out in the front yard, and we were in a pretty okay, safe neighborhood, and so my parents would, you know, my dad would just hang out in the garage and work on his weekend stuff or whatever, and just I'd be rolling in the grass and playing. And every once in a while, one of those mornings would be overcast, and the smog would roll in, and my mom would come out and be like, "Well, we're going inside, you little asthmatic you."
Oh, yeah.
Can't have you out here with the poisonous toxic air from LA. My dad was telling me an anecdote about the smog at one point. He remembers driving on one of the freeways, and when the smog gets really bad, everybody slows down on the freeway, because that's what you should do. You know, it's unsafe to drive in thick conditions like that. And he said that he could not see more than, well, he at the time we were driving, and he pointed to a building that was probably about 150 feet away, and he said, "I could not see halfway between here and that building." That's how thick the smog was back in like the 80s or whenever he was talking about when that occurred. Before the environmentalist came in and started kind of fixing things. Oh, perp. I've been meaning to ask you, because I have little experience with digital art, and most of my experience with visual arts in general has been in physical media. What? So you've been taking that seminar kind of thing on Thursdays, right?
Yeah, I haven't been
What?
able to do one of those in a bit because of my sleep schedule, but yeah.
Well, I was curious how you feel like that's been helping you with your artwork. Do you feel like that's been beneficial for you?
Uh, I think so. It definitely pushes me outside of my box when it comes to like my usual prompts. 'Cause if I just do my usual prompts, I just end up being like, robot here, Sonic the Hedgehog, mostly a lot of
Bugs.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
A lot of Sonic the Hedgehog.
It's been a while since I've done bugs, but that's more of
Soon.
a yeah. When are we gonna get to the firework factory?
I am actually I have been very excited to get you back on bugs, because I know that that's been certainly a warranted complaint about the artistic contributions you've been making in the colony project so far, is that you of this being a bug project, you have not gotten to draw bugs for a while, and I do apologize, but I also greatly appreciate the work that you've been putting into this. I gotta admit, this is some of the weirdest esoteric stuff we've ever asked you to produce for the project. Bugs soon. We'll get you back on bugs. But yeah, I've been meaning to ask. So is that seminar that you do, is that a free thing that the guy who runs that server just does?
Yeah, it's an element that's just kind of anybody is able to contribute to it.
Shoot. Well, I haven't quite gotten to the point of like taking any action to getting myself a drawing pad and learning just yet, but that is something in the works. Uh so when I do get to that point, I'll have to hit you up and ask about that again. And I'm hoping maybe I can get to that point sometime in the summer and start learning digital art fundamentals. Because beyond the fact that I do enjoy drawing. I absolutely enjoy drawing. That's something that I really, really like doing, just like doodling in my spare time. And I don't think that I'm terrible at it, but it's nothing that I've ever pursued to really get into a professional headspace of like trying to get adept enough at it to be able to do this level of work. And this is, while maybe I'm not cut out to do this level of work that you do for us just yet, I do want to get to a point where I can at least like get you guys PSDs of like the loose concepts that I've got in my head, and then let you guys elaborate and throw your own twists and spins on the concepts as well. Just try and
Story.
yeah, storyboarding and or like, doing the loose aspect of the concept art so that way I can push it to you guys and let you elaborate on it. Just like, I guess, yeah, early concept material is really what I'm aiming to be able to achieve with my digital art journey. And if it goes beyond that, that'll be cool to me. Beyond editing and audio and you know video planning for the Song of Origin stuff, a lot of the work this week for Holly and I has been more on the administrative and clerical side of things, of getting a plan ready for me to get back into the swing of working on writing more lore and expanding on stuff, so that way we can also use that toward expediting game design material as well. So pretty excited about getting back into that swing of things as well, because I haven't been able to, between supervising and directing the work for the Song of Origins video and then the game design that that was eating up a lot of the development time last year. I guess really the past couple of years, the lore content has been not cast to the wayside, but more just gotten stagnant as far as progress on it goes. And so Holly's trying to push me to get better at getting into the headspace of writing lore first and everything else second. So good on Holly.
Well, it's because we're at a point where we have to start filling out material beyond just developing some of these systems, and we had enough to get by for current design. But for some of the stuff, like if you've been reading our monthly updates, you may have heard about the cast instincts mechanics, which require us to have the tribes of Sakuta a little more fleshed out in some cases than they are now.
Yep. And so, which is only going to be more enriching. It's going to slow down game development a tiny bit as I get back into the swing of creating what is effectively like world building profiles that are built around the lore and the mythology around those individual tribes. But it's only going to slow it down to the point of like that it's going to enrich the game by me doing it, but it's going to slow down ever so slightly the other progress that we've been working toward. But you know, progress on any part of the project is progress toward all of our goals in general anyway, so.
Right, we're not doing this because we're chasing after the latest shiny thing on the horizon. We've just reached a point in development where we're going, okay, we need more source material to work with in order to be able to build a game that is authentic to the setting.
Yeah. I will say this as so I when we first kind of set out on this project, I guess when I first set out on writing this world and the lore, I didn't really have an RPG in mind for it yet. It wasn't until a little later that I decided that I wanted to do an RPG. And because I had already written so much established world building that was loosely tied to lore that was more adapted into the world building that I had already presented, the world building and the lore always came first, and then we had to retroactively figure out how to fit all of those aspects into the design of the game. And if I could go back in time and maybe change some things, that is probably one of the things that I would have changed, is to design the lore, the world building, and the game simultaneously together so that way they all were cohesive. But didn't turn out that way, and we're working with what I feel like personally is a more authentic version of what I wanted the world and the lore and the world building to be, and the accommodating the gameplay and designing the gameplay around that has been, for me, kind of cool because it allows us to be creative in how we design our mechanics around those problems. But it is a struggle. It is a lot of work. And if I could go back and do it again, I probably would have changed it. But as things are, I am not unhappy with what we've designed and what we've put together. But it is challenging.
Yeah, we were having a conversation the other day about sort of an order of operations for how we want to tackle the remaining things that are left in order to get the game into the state that we want it to be. And part of that is hopefully not switching gears quite so often and just sticking with one mode of production for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now we are balancing the Song of Origins and game development, so we came to the decision that, like, okay, let's finish up what we can for the Song of Origins. Give Perp the time that he needs to work on art. While he's working on art, once we've done everything we can go back to game development.
And in my case, it'll be more lore and world development than it will be game development, but it all follows through into the into the funnel, into the through line.
Yeah.
You know, last night, after we were done chatting and everybody was taking off for the night, I called up Jade and we talked for a little bit, and she was actually, she kind of helped me, like, because I would, you know how I am about changing up my routine and just how I get in my head a little bit and a little bit stressed, and
Like that.
and so I was just talking with her about stuff and just like just talking about how I was just a little bit stressed about everything, and then she said something. She was like, "Yeah, but you like world building. That's the part of the project that you actually do like." And I was like, "Oh yeah, you're right. I why am I getting stressed about going back and working on my favorite thing to do, which is daydreaming and puzzling things together and implementing all of these databases of like mythology and history and lore that I really adore, and why am I getting stressed about that? You're right. You're right." So, stressful as it may be, I am excited to get back into it. Lore and world building are definitely my forte when it comes to this project. I am unfortunately not really, I don't have a background in game design except for this project, and it's it's been a crash course of just, you know, learning what sticks and what doesn't, and learning the flow of design work, and it's been a lot, but being able to have an opportunity to get back into what I do best on this project is I'm pretty excited for it. And, you know, wrapping that back around to the artwork side of things is, you know, this whole project, being able to do this with Perp and Matt and everybody here, it all kind of started with just the fact that I had written down all of these ideas of, like, what I was working on, and, like, having this loose direction of where I wanted to take it. And then people seeing that material, being inspired by that material, is what has pushed us to this point where we're at today, where we're able to share these really grand artistic expressions of this world and universe. And I'm, you know, so now that I get the opportunity to get back in that seat, put that hat back on, get to working on writing that stuff again, it's only going to open up more opportunities for us all to be able to do all of that over again. More lore means more inspiration for people to make art, which means it'll be more inspiration for that reciprocal back and forth between illustrators, musicians, storytellers, all of us to come together and bounce these ideas to create this huge, insane project together. So I'm excited. I'm very excited. We don't. Oh, I was gonna also bring this up. So the other night, Perp, you know what I remembered us talking about a while back?
What?
Birdcage.
I gotta get back into that headspace.
Yeah, that was really cool world building that you were showing off to me with that, and I don't wanna spoil anything if you don't want that too far out in the open, but
Yeah, I was about to say, like, hey, don't forget this stream. It lives on YouTube when it's done, you know.
No, I know. I was just gonna bring that up and be like, maybe
So I had this crazy idea. Birds, they exist.
Yeah, birds aren't government drones. Yeah, I was just thinking about that the other day, and I was like, I should talk with Perp about that sometime. I'd love to, because I haven't seen the artwork around for a minute. And I'd love to check that out again. That stuff was fun to look at.
One thing at a time, Mir.
One thing at a time. You know me. ADHD is all get out. Bouncing all over the place. Yeah, I was actually talking with Calum earlier today before the stream. So he was talking about how a lot of projects like this will have moments where they will do like single like lore documents where they just drop it and then they disappear because they're not interested in actually elaborating on it. Or even if they do like get a following or they get interest in the project, they're kind of like what's the term?
One and done.
Yeah, like one and done. Just like it kind of like follows with that logic of the I'm the ideas guy. I come up with the ideas and you execute it and we'll split it 50-50, right? Like and there's so many projects that come from guys that are just ideas guys who don't have a technical background to be able to elaborate in any meaningful way toward that goal. And he was talking about how Colony is a very unique project where it's a lot of people working toward that goal, and that this was a very like kind of lightning in a bottle kind of a situation of just me being in the right place at the right time to be surrounded by so many amazingly talented individuals. Oh, TJ Banks on YouTube asks, "Can I purchase this work?" Probably one day, when we eventually have like a poster store open. This isn't, yeah, it in the works. At current moment, not yet.
We're very glad to hear that you're interested, though.
Yes, absolutely. The poster store will probably be one of our first merch things, because that is definitely one of the big draws of Colony, is that it is chock full of incredible artwork. But yeah, like Calum was like talking about how this is one of those special projects where it's just like, the work gets done, slow as it does, but it gets done. And I'm just, this part of the project especially, like being the part that I'm most attached to, the lore aspect of Colony, is very, very, like, it's super exciting for me, because this is, to me, where the project all started, was this idea of, like, creating culture and religion and mythology within the context of insects. And so being able to finally get this full expression of how I imagined, how I wanted to portray this aspect of the project, being able to finally get this out there, it's been so exciting seeing it all get put together.
Yep. We're very excited to be able to show it, even if it is a little stressful in the run up to getting it out there.
Yeah. This first part in particular has definitely been like, it required the most rework out of all of the parts that we've needed so far, and so this has been a very, very long time coming to get this part out, and thank God part 2 really only needs technically one movement of new art developed for it. So a little less stressful on Perp's end to get his side of this project put together, because you're gonna have a lot more time to work on it since it's technically only one scene.
But how many bugs are?
There are going to be 10 bugs in total.
Let's go. I can't swear yet, I think.
not yet, no. There's going to be 10 bugs, two of 5 kinds, and then there's going to be a few frames of each of them throughout the work, but then the rest of it's going to be like backdrop work, and it's going to be the mother tree in full bloom. So it's going to be crazy. It's going to be ornate as all get out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, thinking about it now, there's some potential for asset recycling for movement 8 that we could recycle from movement 4.
You'll have to elaborate on that one off stream.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I'll have to write up the idea, but anytime we can reuse assets, it's a good time for me. Good time for the artist too.
Yeah. Just, doing it in a way that looks good and isn't too repetitive. We just want to be thoughtful.
Right, yeah. And I think it also, like, thematically would work pretty well too. Because it is kind of parallel stories that are being told within that section. So I'll do a little write-up a little later. Ah, yes, the Sea of Tranquility. This is your daily reminder to drink water.
You are now drinking water manually.
So-called free will believers when you tell them to blink manually.
So-called free will enthusiasts when 800 800-bit reward
Donations.
Yeah, I had the joke and I lost it in delivery, but the message is there.
I was picking up what you were putting down on that one. I appreciate the effort. Golly, this is looking fancy.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta try to remember what the moon looks like. What do you think I am? A man who owns a window?
Do you think I know what a window is? I'm just a bug.
It's like, I barely got thumbs like 300 years ago. I ain't know this stuff.
Oh, my friend Hunter released a song that I recorded for him a year ago today. It's like one of my favorite songs that he's made too. It's really really pretty. It's called "Getting Older." Hmm.
Clever way to do that, bro.
Yeah, it's like I remembered partway through. It's like, oh yeah, they have shapes for this shape that I'm trying to do.
This shape has a name.
I've seen it somewhere before. Was it in my dreams?
Don't freak out, don't freak out. The symbols in my head are on the wall now.
They're called letters, and they scare me.
Oh, man. Sakuda be like, what's a book?
Yeah.
It's these letters. They seem to be forming what these people called sentences. Then what are these ones with numbers in them? I think that's what they called death sentences.
Oh, shoot. Hold on, I have to find an image that made me laugh the other day. Um... There was a question on Google, and it was, do pigs still eat slop? one of one of the, thank God, non-AI generated answers was, farmers don't slop their hogs anymore.
Okay.
Insane way to phrase that, but I respect it.
Sometimes you just gotta let the demon. You gotta let the demon out.
Yeah. Facts. I can't believe that farmers don't slop their hogs anymore. Can we get... This makes me so sad. Can we get 5,000 likes on this post? Good tea. Like, I've had a lot of tea in my life, right?
Mhm.
This Smith's Blend number 55 is by far my favorite black tea I've ever had. It's just so good. If we've got any viewers in the chat, which we may, it's been a quiet day. How's your day been? You been doing all right? You been staying safe? I eagerly await your reply. Like a soldier gone to war, awaiting... I'm not going along with this bit. Never mind. But I do want to know how y'all are doing. Oh, this moon has a halo.
It's like a metaphor or a
Mhm.
simile.
It's so metaphorical. I think, this function that you're doing right now with the radial mirroring, this is one of the things that I feel like I really want to be doing a lot of with digital art, because I have so many ideas for very trippy centrifugal patterns like that.
Radio. What was it?
What was that?
Symmetrical ruler, at the very least, is what I'm using for a clip.
Ah, gotcha. Okay.
Lets me do all these squiggles with like an eighth, at an eighth of the time.
Excellent. Oh, that's so cool. Wow.
That is just magical, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, thank you for the link, Holly.
Yeah, no problem. That is the specific one that you said you were looking for.
That is, in fact, the exact one I was looking for. Holy cow! 100 sachets is $72. Golly.
Well, you don't have to buy that much at once.
Yeah, but I think I would.
Oh, I know you would.
It's so good.
Oh, perp is bringing in the perspective tool.
Whoa! This man's going crazy with it now. My guy. Ooh. Could you do me a favor real quick?
But
Could you save the glyphs as like that normal circle, like have one that's just the normal oh, perfect. Okay, you read my mind. Never mind.
yeah,
Yeah, okay.
gotta I gotta Clip Studio's instructive method. So I gotta make sure that I keep my bearings.
I was cuz I'm thinking now if it's possible to do this, Holly, have it so that way when you take it into Blender to do any animation work for this one, take the flat one, the dead on one, and angle it so that way it matches roughly the curvature that perp has it on this still image, and have it rotate like it's a Saturn ring around the moon, if that's something possible for us to do.
We'll see. Can't make any promises with the timeline we've been thinking about for this, but
That's fair.
that will be a conversation for later.
Yeah, fair enough. Once I get into figuring out digital art as well, I gotta start learning more about animating in Blender using PSD so I can like assist with this part of the process.
In theory, it's not hard, but you want to have a good grasp of the fundamentals before you try to do it, and it is a slightly temperamental setup.
That's fair. One of these days I gotta, once I have a drawing pad and I'm learning more about using art programs and all that jazz, I'll have to have you and Matt sit me down and teach me Blender fundamentals.
Mm-hmm.
Trick is to understand that Blender's UI has to facilitate 8 different UIs.
Yeah.
And as such, there's a lot of noise.
That's what I understand. It is it's cool though that like Blender went from being regarded as kind of like the one of the lower end products for 3D modeling and stuff like that to now it's industry standard because of how powerful they've made it, and it's crazy that it's free.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most remarkable thing about it, is that it, people talk about like AI, like the chuds talk about how AI is like the democratic freedom of art, and it's like, but like all of these insanely powerful programs have already been free, man.
Yeah.
Like it's, if you've got a pencil and an art pad, you already have the freedom of art in your hands. It's already there. You don't need anything more fancy than that. And the fact that as long as you've got some kind of a computer, Blender can probably run on it. It's become much more optimized in more recent times than it was back when I was first trying to learn it, like 10, 15 years ago. Oh, are you bringing in the glyphs?
Yeah, the shame circle.
The council will decide your fate. You know, I wouldn't mind if you just reused those
Yeah, just copy
assets.
paste it. Yeah.
Yeah. I would in fact encourage it.
The only thing that I probably let's see.
I think you're missing a
Here.
little bit off to the side.
Missing what?
Oh, missing a bit of Lear's constellation.
Oh no, it wasn't there because it was in the reflection of the uh of the uh, eggs. Jeez, my brain.
Yeah, but if it's getting recycled into this. That's a joke that only makes sense to us. But it's weird that like green people whose first syllable is named Lear seem to keep
Oh
getting cut in half.
man, that's crazy. I did not. I have never made that connection in my mind before.
That is a deep cut.
That is a massively deep cut. Rest in peace, Alira, man. Can't believe he had his entire chest compressed.
Here, let me save you a few steps on redrawing Green Man. Because I actually had to do that because I was reusing assets too.
Mm.
Well, it was for that shot from Movement 2 that I was showing you a few days ago, Mir.
Yeah. Is you composited it with Matt's art piece of Aoyama. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What is going on in this stream? Oh, we are working on artwork for a long format lore video that has been a long time in the works. So this is our artist Perp is currently putting together one of the scenes for that video. You're welcome to join in and hang out, ask lore questions. We'd be happy to answer them. We're just chilling. is your favorite species in Colony? Ooh. Oh, that's a hard one. I mean, so I'm a musician, so probably the Edome are very close to my heart since they're grasshopper bards. I do love that aspect about them, that they are just, they wander wherever. They don't really have a centralized home or location, and they just go about wherever they may and play music to whoever will listen. I like that about them. There's also something that I really just love dearly about the Fora. Is they're just the small ones. The kind of, if we want to get into like more traditional fantasy analogs, they're kind of like the hobbits. They are the small folk who make the big differences. So yeah, I like that about them.
Wasn't an ant also your original source of inspiration for this whole project?
It was, yeah. It was just an ant walking by my feet, kind of just turned into an entire world building project. Yeah.
My favorite species is Wendy's French fry.
it was looking for my Wendy's French fry at the time. How do I come up with the names for Colony? They have such a unique flair to them. I'm curious to know their origin. Well, initially, I was basing them off of their when it comes to the species names, especially, I base it off of their taxonomical names, like their Latin taxonomical names, and that was where you have Formica, which is a family of ants, like a particular subsection of ants, and then there's other kinds of ants, of course, but like that term Formica kind of inspired the name Fora. Similarly, termites, Terra, that kind of followed through. And then so the row, I can't remember exactly what the, hold on, I'll pull it up. Unfortunately, I don't know all of them by heart. But let's see. Oh man, I'm really looking. Where did it come from? What was the word? It's funny you bring this up because there is one of our older followers who's been here since a very very long time, like since the beginning, named Lorem Ipsum, and they released a video where they did all of the background work to double check all the taxonomical names and all of that, and he actually has a video that I will get you guys a link so you can check it out yourselves. And he has some pretty thorough investigations on all that. Lorem Ipsum. I will throw.
Managed to get back into contact with them?
We did a while back. He just said that he couldn't focus on like world building and video production stuff. Remember?
Yeah.
He just had a lot going on his plate at the time.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if you had been able to talk to him.
I never got in touch with him. I just heard this secondhand through you guys.
Okay. Yeah, because I know I did the initial reach out, but you should talk to him yourself.
If I can find where to reach out to him, I'd be happy to. It's just been.
I'll send you his info.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
I feel like I sent him a friend request a while back, but yeah, I'll do some double checking on him. But yeah, he was very very excited about working on investigating the world of Colony, and it's kind of crazy that he was the first person to make fan art of Colony, because there was a point in time which we didn't have any artwork of the Edome, and so he took it upon himself to make some. And so not only did he make the first fan art, but that fan art was the first depiction of a species in Colony ever. And that's pretty cool for a fan to have put that together. And he's he was also doing the first fan videos talking about it, and it was fun. I really miss having those conversations with him about it. Oh, thank you, Holly. I'll reach out to him sometime later today.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no rush, but just like, hey, why use a go-between when you can talk to him directly?
Yeah, that's true. There's also like trying to think of like other fun tidbits in regards to like the way that we've developed the language for Colony as well. Like the term colo also came from the taxonomical name, but then I later learned, and here I'll pull up our translational dictionary for Colony up so I can give you some cool tidbits about it. So when we were like looking at developing, so that since we already had Latin as kind of like a base, we kind of used some more of the Latin terms as we were going along, developing other words in the language, and so we've always kind of had Latin on the back end to like look at while we were developing more of the language, and we found out that the word for horn in Latin is cornu, cornu. That's like the root word for horn, and so with the way that we kind of have our letter spelling and pronunciation set up, I kind of adjusted that to fit more into our linguistic style, and cornu became koro, Koro, which is really close to the word colo, which is the word for beetles. It's the name of the species of beetles as a general species in Colony, and so I use that as like one of those ideas of like where colo got the name colo from that root word of koro. So having that historical through line that we can kind of push through into the language and more into the world building and stuff like that. It feels a little bit more authentic to and a little bit more immersive. And it's also funny that Koro is a word in Colony, because that is also a word in Bionicle, which means village. Are there any stories in the lore outside of the Song of Origins? Any specific characters you've come up with yourself? Yes. Yes, they I am writing a novel that is its own independent story that like takes place in the more quote unquote contemporary era of storytelling for the world of Colony. Um, and it requires me to develop a lot more of the lore and the backdrop and this and to be able to fortify all of that contemporary storytelling. So it's all kind of intertwined with each other, and there's going to be a lot more to the Song of Origins as well. There's so the Song of Origins is just the first song in a larger song called the Song of Aoyama, which is kind of like analogous to their scriptures, their oral history that's also like reinforced through pheromone memories that are passed by Momoku. And the story that I am coming up with right now, if you'd like to know any of the specific characters' names, I'd be happy to tell you some of those. There is an ant named Kiyut. There is a Terra named Ruli. There is an Apoy named Vote. A Manta named Nil. And a Ro named Alea. So and those are just 5 of about 24 named characters within that story. And that's just so far. I'm sure I'm going to have many, many more that I need to come up with names for. But yeah, those are some of the names of some of the characters. And they all kind of exhibit certain aspects about myself. They're all, you write what you know. So all of these characters are kind of mirrors of different aspects about myself and how they're all kind of at odds with each other. And it's been very cool developing the story on the back end of things and the way that it's been developing. And I've actually come across some really cool additional stuff that I want to be implementing into the storytelling that I'm pretty excited about. Can't tell you a whole lot about it, unfortunately, but it's coming along. Do you think of adding mammals like mice to Colony that serve the role of dragons or monsters? Absolutely. I absolutely do. We, in fact, already have like a category of those kinds of monsters. So you have the children of the sap, which are the Sakuda. They are the protagonist races within the world of Colony. You have the Ulukuta, who are the antagonist races that are still, insectoid. They are still arthropods. And those are things like spiders and scorpions and those kinds of things. And then we have... We've mentioned them briefly before, and you can look up our lore shorts about them, which are called the Soda Sol, which are like these enormous titanic land and air animals. And those are things like deer and bears, wolves, eagles, stuff like that. And those are they kind of add this function of like titans within their mythology. And then in between, like on the smaller end of that, like mice and stuff like that, yes, we have this, we have like mice, bats, lizards, birds, like all sorts of smaller animals that do serve, like you say, that role of dragons, like these higher level monsters. And they are called Sora. So they are called beasts, and then you have great beasts, which are the Soda Sol. So Soda and Soda Sol. The Soda Sol came first, and mythologically, the Soda are kind of like these long, uh, like descendants, like long abandoned descendants of these of the Soda Sol. It's kind of how they fit in mythologically into the entire, mythology. So they are not necessarily divine, but they are descendants, forgotten descendants of these quote unquote higher species. Um, Astrology, in a sense. So what's going on here is the way that the Sakuda interpret their gods within like as so to them they're sun worshippers, so their highest god within their cosmology, within their mythology, is named S, and they think of S as the sun. In a literal sense, they think that S is the sun continually revolving uh, around them and watching over them during the day. And these other uh, moving lights in the sky are other higher deities, the ones that wander through the night sky, the planets, are what they interpret as being their like the other gods within their pantheon. And then all of the rest of the stars in the sky are part of like the same species, but they're called the Countless. They're kind of just like these minor gods that are more just ambivalent to the existence of the Sakuda. Occasionally they will come and interact with them, but it's very, very, very rare occasions that it occurs. So this depiction that you're seeing on screen now is a depiction of the council of their pantheon casting out the fallen member of the of their pantheon, whose name is Zek. He transgressed against them and is now being cast out of their presence. This is his judgment that's being depicted right here. I want to ask, how should the 8 eyes of heaven be like as an emotional spectrum with astrology? Unfortunately, I don't know much about astrology, so that 8 eyes of heaven, I'm uncertain of what that means, but this that what you bring up with like the emotional spectrum, that is something that I did investigative work into the symbology of the colors that I gave to each of the pantheon members. They all are given a very specific meaning with their coloration, and that kind of like influences their domain of what they rule over on Aoyama. Oh. Yeah, this is this depiction of the casting out of the satanic character within their mythology. His name is Zek, and this is kind of like his judgment uh, for the transgression of awakening the Soda Saul that I was talking about earlier. Um, in a nutshell, uh, the Asatari uh, laid eggs on Aoyama and prepared. Were figuring out a plan for what they were going to do with them, and then Zek comes along and spoils their plans, and kind of ruins everything about what they were planning to do, and so they had to clean up his mess, and then this is them judging him for having acted outside of their counsel. This is coming together so well, perp. Holy cow. Oh, hey, I do want to ask one thing. Can you give me small advice on how to do sketch work? So that's a perp question right there.
Learn your basics of shape and silhouettes. Really kind of goes into which kind of sketch work you're trying to do. If you're trying to look into like doing environment sketches, character sketches, that kind of stuff. But usual fundamentals of like basic shape language and silhouette is a usual good starting point. Don't really need to think about too much of the like complicated stuff like color theory early in. Color theory is important, but you don't really need it if you're going to be like mostly keeping your stuff to like a black and white palette. Just always kind of stay a little keep a studious kind of mindset going into something. You're not going to know everything the second that you're jumping into it.
Yeah. Line upon line, precept upon precept, one step at a time.
Yeah, and brush your teeth.
And brush your teeths. Man. Yeah,
Mouse.
man. Are you a man or a mouse? Horse. This legit, like, I would hang this as art on a wall, my guy. This is crazy. Is it looking good on the symmetricality there, bud? Remember that trend of people being like, be sure to flip your artwork, and people were mirroring their artwork and just being like, no!
So, human brain likes to human brain likes to kind of auto correct shit that it sees. So you gotta be mindful.
Yeah, I got you. You jamming into to any tracks today, perp?
Oh, silence and dogs fighting, I guess.
Oh no.
Yeah, the girls are angry.
Okay.
Oh. Oh. The pain and suffering continues.
If you're going to have multiple dogs, make sure each of them is spayed and neutered for their health.
Mhm.
And also yours.
Yep. This is your weekly PSA.
Or it's more of like a buy. I can never tell if it's like which one is the every other one. It's like
That would be bi-weekly,
Semi?
yeah.
it's
Semi-
it's bi-weekly.
Yeah, semi
Yeah.
would be if we did it every half a week.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of screams,
That would
a
be
lot of not bugs.
a lot of not bugs, yeah. As much as I love Colony, I could not do 2 streams a week. That'd be too much.
Too bugs, too furious.
Just looking at the composition of it upside down, I just had the silliest thought. Is this what flat earthers believe?
You see, the sun revolves around us.
Exactly.
Every other planet in the solar system, yeah, those are like spheroid whatever things. There's like science behind that. The Earth,
Not a chance. I did have the thought early on in Colony's development for there to possibly be a belief that that the world was flat, and then I was just like the statistics that I'd have to go into to make that work, and like all of the hoops I'd have to jump through in the mythology and the lore to get that to work would just be too much for me, and I decided against it.
yeah, I feel like at that point you're better off doing the like there was no such thing as the Americas, but for like there is no Europe. These bugs cannot comprehend the existence of a Europe.
Exactly. I mean, no bugs can, realistically. Not even the bugs in Europe.
Yeah.
It's also crazy to me that one of the top guys to in the Flat Earth Society was he got a he he went to Antarctica and was shown the 24-hour sun revolution, and they posted all of the live streams and everything, and there's still flat earthers who are vehemently denying it. It's crazy, man. I got recommended.
Yeah, that guy's a shill.
He's a shill. can't believe anything he says. They're paying him. It's green screen. It's everything they can possibly throw at him. They're saying about him, and it's just the copium is insane. I got recommended this music. Part of the project's music. This is a massive world building project. If you'd like a link to our music, I can supply you one to our website. One moment. Go grab that link for you.
I don't know if you keep a lot of the music streams to dev server, or if you've put some on or not dev server, like the public server, and how much has been recorded.
We have one stream that is of me developing music on the YouTube channel. And yeah, I've done like one or two community server streams, but aside from that, like I don't stream the music process a whole lot, mostly because current music process is mostly tied to Song of Origin stuff, and I don't want to spoil everything about that. So until Song of Origin's music production is wrapped, and I can, when I get to working on music, I can just work on chill vibe stuff for the Sounds of Aoyama, then that will be its own that will be, you know, I'll probably make that a more common thing to just work on music streams like that.
As long as you can find a way to not have your laptop combust. I believe that was the other problem.
That is the other problem, yeah. And I'm sure I can figure out some way to get around that. It'll be, I'll need to set up both of my computers to make that happen. And I think you suggested that I like, stream it using the Hex Discord account so I can have both computers running at the same time. It would be a weird workaround, but we could figure it out.
But it would work.
It would work. Also be very power intensive, and I'm not sure the breakers would be happy with my room. But I'll figure it out.
Obviously, you set up the laptop in the kitchen.
Yeah. Like just put in a different room of the house.
Well, I'd have to haul my entire keyboard downstairs if I was to do that, is the other thing. So it would have to be centralized to my room because my keyboard is basically built into my desk at this point.
Okay.
You ask your roommate, hey, you sign into Discord for me.
You sign into Discord for me and stream. And not use your computer for like 3 hours. Such an unreasonable ask.
Yeah. I think you should at least try it and, you know, see what happens, see if you try a breaker.
Yeah, we could do a test stream one of these days and see how it goes. The 8 eyes of heaven are connected to an emotional spectrum like rage, envy, or happiness. Think of it like the Lantern Core. I see. Okay. That's kind of part of how we put it all together. I used the color theory stuff to like so for instance, Lear, the emerald, he is the green member of this pantheon, and he represents ambition. He represents reaching and striving, ambition, and occasionally greed, depending on how you worship him. And Zhao, the Azure, he's blue and represents tranquility, and on the opposite side of that, inaction. You know, they represent both the whole spectrum of the good and bad attributes of their domains. And then in the case of Sue, Sue and Zek are twins to each other. Sue is the violet, and Zek is the crimson, and they were twins born out of the same egg in the mythology, and they represent. Sue represents wisdom, and Zek represents passion, and they when they work together, they work well with each other because they balance each other out. Where you listen, the catch between your heart and your head, basically, and when you and Zek's transgression was allowing his own passion, his own desires, his own ego to override the what's it called? To override the agency of the others who were supposed to be working with him toward this goal of creation. And so when he opposed that balance, it was his transgression. It was selfishness and self-centeredness. And so that's kind of like it's also interest. I kind of use that as a color theory thing, like theme as well, because on the light spectrum, violet and red are on the opposite ends of it, and so I kind of use that as like it all has these multi-layered meanings behind everything.
I wonder if my brain is going too big on this idea.
What makes you say that, bro?
I'm just staring at this, and I'm like, so yeah, let's turn off those. That, not that, that. So there's the circle, and then there's these curved elements on the side. Am I looking at a halo and wings?
Oh.
Am I accidentally a symbolism?
Am I accidentally a symbolism? That's going in quotes.
Like,
hold on.
My brain is so big. I am the master of my embolism.
Am I accidentally a symbolism? Alright, there we go. Oh, I forgot to attribute it to you. Whoops. There we
Stolen valor. I see how it is.
My bad. My bad. Fixed it. Thank God for edits.
So, well, how are we on time?
We are just shy of 2 hours now.
All right.
How are you feeling?
Probably. I need to get up and stretch. No matter what I break.
Yeah, no worries. Do we maybe want to just call it here for right now on the stream and then maybe reconvene in a private chat a little later?
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Well, in that case, thank you everybody so much for showing up and hanging out and asking questions. And we will see you next week. We'll have Matt with us. And we hope y'all have a great one. Take care now.
Bye.
Yeah, man.